I hate you, Gene. So, how many people here keep in contact with their current database, their current customers and clients? It's huge. In today's environment, today's economics, to always be out there and prospecting and always be out there and advertising and marketing for brand new business, people will go broke. But you know what? You've already got somebody that has trust you, they work with you, they'll endorse you. You need to stay in contact with those people to follow up. Great ways to follow up with them is like newsletters, emails, client appreciation parties, inviting them to business networking events like this, if that's, if that falls within what their business is. You have to stay in contact and have a system to stay in contact with your customers and clients, and through that, they will send you business. And the last aspect is, whenever somebody sends a referral your way, whenever somebody helps make that introduction, always show some gratitude, acknowledge it. One of the best techniques that I have learned is literally just a personal handwritten note, a thank you note. You'd be amazed at what that does. I get more phone calls back from people saying, I just got your note, thank you so much. I'm like, well, I was just thanking you for introducing me to so-and-so. So within that, how am I doing on time, Gene?
You're doing fine.
Excellent. Any questions dealing with building a business by referral? We answered all the questions right up there. Well, if any questions come up, my website's on there. Cards got passed around, or catch me after the meeting. And Gene, once again, thank you so much for allowing me to talk to your group today.
Awesome. Somebody's got to have a question. Say I'm total neophyte to this, because I really love the whole referral system of business by referral and all that kind of stuff. So, what would be your suggestion to somebody who's new at it? What would you do first?
The question was, somebody that's new in business, how to get a referral. What would you do first? Excellent question. There's a concept of the giver's gain, and that is finding somebody that you could send business to, finding somebody that you could become an advocate for and refer business over to them. Now, I don't ever want you to feel like, okay, I send you a referral, now you owe me one. That's not the giver's gain. What the giver's gain is, I'm going to put referrals out there. I'm going to create, we talked about landmark education. I'm going to create an environment of referrals. I'm going to put referrals out there, and in that situation, referrals will actually come back to you. Yes, Mr. Lewis.
So one of the ways I became affiliated with I Take the Lead was I adopted the philosophy of make a difference for other people first, which is the giver's gain, which you speak of. I didn't have that terminology around it. But I was also clear that my closing techniques lacked a bit. And so I knew that I would go out and make a difference in the communities that I was involved in, and that sooner or later introductions would come my way, and they did. It was inevitable. It was great. At that point, though, I was trying to find that line between where I wasn't this free giving person, and I actually addressed the issue of doing business with some tact. Do you have anything you could share about that?
I'm a little unclear on the question.
Well, so we don't want it to be that here I just made a referral to you, now you owe me one. I did not want that, and so I didn't get that. I ultimately got, hey, I know somebody might be able to use your services. You should give this person a call. That was great. I wanted to be able to then, with the same sort of giving way of being, conduct my business. And initially, I was having a hard time not feeling like all of a sudden the salesperson.
Okay. I think I know what your question is, and if I answer it incorrectly, jump in on me. Everybody in here has, statistically speaking, everybody in here knows at least 200 to 400 people, and they pretty much kind of determine if somebody here was to get married or die, you'd have somewhere between 200 to 400 people show up to either the funeral or the wedding. So what you want to become is actually a resource. You want to become, so for all those people that you want to be somebody that they think of when they have a question or a problem. It could deal with personal training, it could deal with bookkeeping, telecommunications, internet, business coaching. It can deal with a problem within that aspect or a problem outside of that aspect. So at that point, you become a resource for everybody that you know and all your customers and clients. So, you know, they may come to Gene and say, nothing to deal with networking groups or business building groups or anything like that. They may say something to the effect of, hey, I've got the IRS knocking on my front door. Who do you know? And then that comes in Bob over here from, you know, as a CPA to come in and save the day. What has happened for that client is, to that prospect that Gene personally knows, Gene just saved their day. Gene did nothing more than to make an introduction, but Gene just saved their day. For Bob, he just got himself a new client. He got himself some new business and somebody that he can, you know, take care of and solve their problems. So, did that answer your question?
To a degree. Yeah.
Well, I think it's not one-on-one type thing, like you said, you know, it's not one-on-one. Because I've heard people say that. Some guy in Denver said to me, he says, I was in a B&I group, and I was whatever. You know, I was in a B&I group, and he was an insurance agent, and somebody came up and said, you owe me a lead. And it's like, who thinks that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Somebody
it's
ever
not
comes up,
one-on-one.
okay, and you have to stop and think for a moment here. Who do you want to be in business with? And I'm not talking about your direct business partners. I'm not talking about your employees, people within your office. I'm talking about directly who do you want to be in business with? Who do you want to be known as a person? So if somebody comes up and says, I gave you a lead, now you owe me a lead. I'm really scared to send anybody that I want to, that I like to that person, just because at that moment I'm like, okay, if that's how you're going to treat me and we're supposed to be friends, how are you going to treat my person here? So I would actually go find other people to build business relationships with.
Well, I think that's true, because we don't, that's one of the fundamental philosophy differences between, I think, these other leads groups, is that with a B&I, where they have, you know, sort of quotas, Tip definitely has quotas, because you have to pass 4 leads a month or you can be kicked out. It creates a fear factor, and also a lot of garbage. I know one of our members was at a Tip group, and we passed 126 leads last month, and wow, that's pretty impressive. So they passed around the sheets and said, out of those 126 leads, 3 leads turned into business.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of garbage, a lot of smoke and mirrors, and you know, it's not very productive. So thanks for, and I really appreciate you doing this. Business by referral is an art. So let's give Greg up there. And that's what we try to do with our speakers, like we have.